We're going to begin with this to show you what is available to you, and we're going to go over the introductory section, and if we get to one we get. All right. So this document, we're going to try and be a little low key on the printing. So the actual homework questions that I did are on this document, and it's in the folder for the POS homework. POS is Practice of Statistics, and that folder in Google Classroom, when you click on that, that'll have folders in there of the chapters, and it has this standalone PDF. They're the questions that I did, meaning you can do more than that, but it doesn't make sense for you to go rogue and do some questions that we're not going to discuss collaboratively, right? So if you see this, from 1-0 I assigned 2, 6, and 10. And those problems, I thought about this. Like I thought, oh, is that really a good idea? Because 2, 6, and 10, if you look up here, we're going to do 1, 5, and 7 in class, and those problems are kind of grouped together. And 2, 6, and 10 kind of are the same type of questions. So it leaves open the possibility that you could be cutting corners. Well, it's just the same problem I did in class, different numbers. I can blitz through this. The idea was to have some continuity between what we do in class and what we actually do at home. Not like go over this and give you and ambush you with questions and do it home. You have to sip the coin and understand that you do those problems thoroughly, and you can refer back to what we did in class, and they should help you. And you may be able to get them done in less than 50 minutes, and then there's other resources that you have to help you understand the material. So, we are no longer, here's the lesson, here's my outline of the lesson. So if I go to page 2, the only heading, which I got this heading out of the book on page 2, Organizing Data. When I outline this, I found one thing to be important in the whole introductory section. There's a distinction between categorical variables and quantitative variables. And you are accountable for that distinction. Okay? You don't have to write this down, you have to be aware of it. If you want to write it down, that's up to you. But that's a distinction you're accountable for. And what's going to happen is we're going to ask you to go to these questions based on what you read, 1, 5, and 7, and we're going to get through those. When we go over the homework, I didn't print that either. Okay, so you're used to, if you're an AB, you used to be handing out a hard copy of the homework answers in addition to what's in Google Classroom. No more. You're going to have your laptop in the room when we have homework days, and we're going to use what's in the Google Classroom folder to review the homework problems. We good? So we're going to pause the video. Is it running? I'm not even in the camera. Okay. We're going to pause the video for a moment, and we're going to ask you to go to problems 1, 5, and 7 with the people that you're sitting, and then we're going to go over those. You need to adapt to the way that we're writing these answers. Like this whole thing, like we're not writing letter answers. People that have been here before kind of get the idea. If you get a multiple choice question here, we're doing the problem in class, this is absolutely 100% worthless. So write that in your notebook. Oh, look at the letter answer, man. What good is that? Like, this has to stand alone. So you don't have to write complete sentences, but you have to have something there that is meaningful. So we're going to go over these problems, starting with number 1. And here's what happened. This is my idea, and I don't expect the first day for you to write things the way I want them written, but I expect you to get there. So problem number 1, I wrote the age students of the individuals. Well, I didn't rewrite the question, but that's what the question asked. And then I broke it down into categorical versus quantitative. And really the only value to that question is if you look at the 2 for the 5th column. See, the 5th column is homework last night in minutes. So even though they're numerical values, it's not quantitative. Why not? Because it's a range, correct. So they're saying 0 to 14 is one answer. 15 to 29 is the second answer. So that, the range in minutes is categorical. If that list had the precise number of minutes they spent on homework, then it would be quantitative, which it isn't. Does that make sense? So you got to be careful. You have to read the detail. That could be misleading. Oh, it's numbers there, so that makes it quantitative. Not necessarily. Okay? So now we go to problem 5 on page 8. And they just have a paragraph there, and they ask you, again, to break these down into categorical, quantitative, and then here's what you got. 3 of them are categorical, 2 of them are quantitative. You can read that. I'm not going to. But like, if you just wrote these lists and you don't have headings on them, then the thing doesn't have any value. Like, this thing should stand alone. When you're reading this in anticipation of an assessment, reading your work should have some value to you without having to cross-reference it with a book. Okay? Which brings us to 7, which is a little open-ended, because we all could have different answers, and they all could be, some are correct. And they're saying the ranking of these schools and I said the quantitative one is the graduation rate and the tuition, well, they're numerical values. And then athletic conference, who do we play against in sports? And then what kind of accreditation they have. I don't expect anybody to reproduce this, but they're accredited or not accredited. They're in the Big East, or they're in the Big 10, Big 16. They're examples of categorical in terms of the schools. We good? So, we're going to pause the video, and we're going to resume our SSR for 1-1, and then we're going to look at a few questions from 1-1. And then, are you listening?
Yes.
There's homework for 1011. I'm not assigning that homework to you unless I send you a notification through hack that